Powercrunch!
Hello and welcome back to How To Versus, the show that hopes to educate viewers about the various areas of versus debating. Whether or not we're making any progress in that is up in the air, but my bet is no. But we're doing this anyway. Today, we will be going over the two primary sections of strength, lifting strength and striking strength. As the name implies, lifting strength primarily has to do with a character's physical ability to lift, throw, and stall objects of varying mass, as well as overpowering a character established to have a lifting strength tally of their own. Striking strength primarily has to do with just how hard a character can strike something or someone. Kind of obvious, really. Now, fair warning, striking strength has a lot in common with attack potency and durability, which was the topic of episode 1 of this series. If you have seen that episode already, then this should be somewhat familiar to you. When it comes to strength and versus, the lower end feats are typically labeled as human, be it subhuman or superhuman, self-explanatory really. Once we reach the more powerful stuff, that's when we drop the human suffixes and bring in the classes. Much like how a character's attack potency and durability are sectioned in levels, classes are the strength equivalent to that, so use that as a small guide. Classes make up the vast majority of this stat, and the ones beyond that, however, the maximum end feats, well, we'll discuss those at the end. Now let's begin, starting with the heavy lifting. Literally. Also, please note that the examples that we'll be using visually do not necessarily represent the maximum amount of strength that the character has. They're just a feat of that specific class or other tier. So yeah, we're not downplaying, trust me, we're just using examples. First off, we have subhuman, ranging anywhere from 0 to 25 kilograms, or 0 to 55 pounds. Objects of this mass can be found virtually anywhere, and can easily be moved by the average human. Chances are you yourself are at least this strong. Also, small puppies fall under this. Look at the puppy! Look at the puppy! It's a fluff ball! Next up, we have average human, ranging from 50 to 80 kilograms, or 110 to 176 pounds. As the name implies, this is typically the average mass of a fully grown human, and still very much within the realms of possibility for us lame-ass real-worlders to lift and move on our own, albeit with some physical strain. And now, above average human. Yeah, still self-explanatory, the name alone requires no real explanation, it's above average. Yeah. 80 to 120 kilograms, or 176 to 265 pounds. This is usually how heavy common household appliances weigh, and is also the mass of the average kangaroo, ostrich, and nurse shark. Hooray for random Google searches! Christ, I am lazy. And now here's where the Olympics start coming into play with athletic human. Most sponsored people on TV that lift things and possibly chuck them at objects or other people if sufficiently pissed off enough fall here. 120 to 227 kilograms, or 265 to 500 pounds, are the numbers. Things that fall under here include the heart of a blue whale and the average male tiger. And here is where real-world possibility ends with lifting. We refer to this as peak human. This is the spot where world record holders reside happily with the record plaque resting atop their fireplace mantle, or something, I don't know. 227 to 454 kilograms, or 500 to 1,000 pounds. This is the weight of a fully loaded golf cart and where most of the weightlifting world records reside, at least according to the ever-so-reliable Wikipedia. Anything beyond peak human, but uncertainly so, is generally labeled as superhuman. It can best be described as a fill-in term for whenever you can't quite put a finger on a character's strength. In other words, inconsistency. You know, that keyword that certain people of Versus sling around when they try to downplay their opponent's feats? Yeah, that's it. I advise not to use this term very often. And now we begin with the aforementioned classes for lifting strength. Most of these names make it pretty easy to follow, so I won't go into super detail here. After anything superhuman, we start off with Class 1, anywhere from 454 to 1,000 kilograms, or 1,000 to 2,204 pounds. Funnily enough, this is where the 3 heaviest Pokemon on record reside. Why am I using Pokemon as an example? Because it fits. Class 5 is up next, and this is where the mass gap starts getting much wider. Class 5 is anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 kilograms, or 2,200 to 11,000 pounds. Land vehicles such as cars and trucks almost always fall under this category. Now we have Class 10, and here we got 5,000 to 10,000 kilograms, or 11,000 to 22,000 pounds. The average weight of an African male elephant, a male orca whale, or the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex. Making a big jump ahead with Class 25, 10,000 to 25,000 kilograms, or 22,000 to 55,000 pounds. This is how much the Belle of Big Ben weighs, as well as the anchors of the RMS Queen Elizabeth II. Got a lot of British stuff on this one, huh? Class 50 makes another big leap ahead. 25,000 to 50,000 kilograms, or 55,000 to 110,000 pounds. This is the weight of the average 18-wheeler cruising down the highway at 70 miles per hour and making you fear for your safety because they're always right next to you on the highway.
Oh, come on, did you have to kill Wilhelm? What did he ever do to you?
Right then. Triple digit time. We are now at Class 100. And if you haven't figured out the pattern by this point, don't worry, because this is the last of the classes that end in a number. Class 100 is 50,000 to 100,000 kilograms, or 110,000 to 220,000 pounds. Things under this category include 125-foot-tall water towers, tanks, and scout ships. And now we move on to when lifting classes take after striking classes and start using letters. Class K goes from 100,000 to 1 million kilograms, or 220,000 to 2,200,000 pounds. This is the heaviest living animal known to man, the blue whale. What, you thought I was going to make a yo mama joke? Yeah, sorry, I'm not that lowbrow. Next is Class M, 1 million to 1 billion kilograms, or 2,200,000 to 2,200,000,000 pounds. Starting to get kind of arbitrary here, I must admit. These are where things like capital ships, skyscrapers, and gigantic man-made monuments fall under. Class G is 1 billion to 1 trillion kilograms, or 2,200,000,000 to 2,200,000,000,000 pounds. The pyramids of Giza fall under here. And it's starting to get kind of hard to find examples for these kind of weights that haven't already been used, so yeah, I'm gonna get sued for plagiarism. Oh. Next is Class T, which is 1 trillion to 1 quadrillion kilograms. For pounds, just use the previous numbers and add 3 zeros at the end because it's getting very annoying to write them down and also say them. The largest mountains on Earth, such as Mount Everest, fall under here. Class P is 1 quadrillion to 1 quintillion kilograms, which is the mass of Mimas, the Saturn moon that looks like the Death Star. That one. Class E is 1 quintillion to 1 sextillion kilograms. This is the mass of Saturn's rings and the combined total of all of the Earth's oceans. Class Z is 1 sextillion to 1 septillion kilograms. This is the mass of our moon, as well as Ganymede. I meant one of Jupiter's moons. The largest of Jupiter's moons, and the largest moon in our solar system, in fact, to whoever is editing this. Class Y, 1 septillion to 1 octillion kilograms. This is the mass of all of the individual planets in the solar system not named Jupiter because apparently this gas giant is too important for typical versus stat comparisons. We're out of the classes! But we're not done yet. Pre-stellar is 1 octillion to 1 nonillion kilograms. This is where Jupiter finally comes into play, as this is the mass of that planet. Flippin' special snowflake. Stellar is anything beyond 1 nonillion kilograms, but below the next level. In other words, small stars to anything lighter than a galactic scale. Kinda spoil the next one, but yeah, galactic is the next step for lifting, and is, as the name implies, anything on a galactic scale. These are really obvious. And finally, the last step to lifting strength is simply immeasurable. That's it, there's no quantifiable measurement for these. These are typically used for gods, abstract being, and characters who are constantly wanked to being totally limitless, often caused by no limits fallacies. And now we're done with lifting, but we're only about halfway done. We have to cover striking strength now. Okay, so everything from the aforementioned subhuman to peak human fall under Class H, striking strength. Because you see, H stands for human, don't you know? Up next is when the classes start with the double letters, because complications. The first of these classes is Class KJ, or kilojoules for short. These are your typical wall-busting attacks. Following that is Class MJ. I will briefly pause for you to make Michael Jackson and/or Mary Jane jokes. Okay then. MJ actually stands for megajoules, and is where you can find building-level attacks. Are you detecting a pattern with these names yet? Because they should be obvious. Giga comes after Mega, so the next class must be Class GJ for gigajoules. And you'd be absolutely correct! Stop getting ahead of the narrator, dang it! These range from large building-level attacks to multi-city block-level attacks. After Giga comes Terra, so indeed next up is Class TJ for terajoules. These are the town-level attacks from small town to large town. Sorry if this is less detailed than the lifting strength, by the way. I told you this was going to be a lot more simplistic and a lot more straightforward. Wait, I didn't tell you that? Well, crap! It's just a rehash of the attack potency feats, okay? Just the same thing. That's why I'm going so quickly, dang it. Predictable escalation brings us to Class PJ for pentajoules, not pajamas. To put it simply, these are the city-busting nukes. Yes, including the World War II nukes, because once again, comparing fictional feats to this real-world event will never leave me alone. Anybody with experience in advanced mathematics probably wants me dead by now, and I don't blame them. Next, we got ourselves Class EJ for exajoules, which thankfully isn't Class XJ because that would just get confusing. These are island-level attacks for when you just want to destroy the very foundation you live on. Whoa, deja vu. More foundation-destroying strikes with Class ZJ, which at this point is starting to sound like crappy rapper names but really just mean zetajoules. These are country-busting attacks to make a long story short. Even more foundation-destroying fun times with Class YJ for Yotajoules, or Yoda-joules, depending on how much of a Star Wars fan you are. Following the natural escalation, we got continent-level attacks right here. At last, we leave this crappy planet and move on to stellar-related shenanigans. Class NJ for Ninajoules, moon-busting attacks. Now we have an actual Class XJ, which is Tenajoules. Little non-indicative, but X means 10, so, Roman numerals and all that, yeah. These are planet-busting attacks, which really should not be surprising by this point. After Class XJ, the following classes go for 3 whole letters. Exciting, I think. Class XKJ is for tenakilojoules. Basically take all the previous joules stated beforehand from the beginning and add tena to the front and you got the idea. These are large planet-level attacks. So basically Jupiter. Funny how Jupiter is a common blow this or its moon up to pass a certain level in verses. Mega is after kilo, as we've discussed earlier, so indeed Class XMJ means 10 megajoules. Again, just add 10 to the front in previous sequential order. These are the Starbusters, and after writing the script, I wouldn't mind being detonated into orbit. At least narration is more fun than writing. Moving on. Striking Class XGJ is for 10 gigajoule. These range from average star to large star level attacks. The next logical step is the Mighty Supernova. Yay! Class XTJ for 10 terajoules. Say that 5 times fast. These are when attacks start hitting the foe areas, so yep, friggin' supernovas. More catastrophic destruction with Class XPJ, 10 petajoules. These are the ones comfortably in the solar system level attacks, and they have more foe than Class XTJ. Still got a ways to go with Class XEJ, 10 exajoules, small galaxy level. Next. Class XZJ for 10 zetajoules. Is still small galaxy level, so just more so than Class XEJ. Dang, the chain's been broken! Out of the classes once more, but we're still not frickin' done! Now we have Galactic. This is the attack potency needed to destroy our own galaxy, the Milky Way. Simple as that. Next is Class Multigalactic, which really is not that hard to figure out. It's multi-galaxy level. Indeed. And now, Universe Class, which is universe busting. I already went over this in episode 1, and now I feel like I've just been repeating myself for the past 5-10 minutes, depending on how long the editing goes on for. Finally, the highest level of striking power is simply immeasurable. Again, this is anything beyond universal, often used by gods, abstract beings, and characters with NLFs abused by loud, annoying fan bases. And at last, we're done! Thank you for watching this episode of How To Versus. See you all in the next episode with another topic, because believe me, there is still a lot of ground to cover. See you all then.